Well, hey everybody, it's me. It's Thursday. I thought I'd pop in. I know I always pop in at late, but I thought I'd pop in just for a few minutes and share some of you as you are popping in with me. Please do me a favor, share with someone, or just let's talk for a few minutes. It's not going to be long tonight. I just wanted to talk about a few things that I've learned this week, a couple of lessons that I've learned this week, and some things that I think are very important for us to learn. You know, we're always open to learning and getting things that will be helpful, positive things, and sometimes negative things. You have to learn it all, and you have to look. I always have a thing in life is that, hey, I always have a thing in life. Hey, Mother Washington Jackson, how you doing? I always have a thing in life is that you look at things around you and you try to learn lessons from things that are going on and things that are around you. So I try my best to learn as much as I can from things and look at things and just see what is the lesson that we make and learn from certain things that even though they may be negative. So this is what I want to talk about tonight for brief. So, hey, Brother Richardson. So in Georgia this past Tuesday, we had runoff elections, and so we had an election, a runoff between an incumbent and someone that was new coming in. That was, I think her name is her last name is Willis. I can't think of what the first name is. And anyway, she ran for sheriff along with the incumbent Paul Howard, and they ran. And I really didn't pay that much attention to the race. I knew that everyone kept saying it was a nasty race. It was nasty. It was this. It was that. So, you know, that is to be expected sometime in politics and the things you do. But one of the things that some things I wanted to highlight about this that are valuable lessons to all of us to learn. First of all, let me commend District Attorney-elect Willis, I believe her name is, on her win as being the next district attorney of Fulton County. Let me also say congratulations to her. She broke the ceiling. She's the first black woman as a DA, and so we congratulate her on that. Then we also want to take time to congratulate Paul Howard. We congratulate him because 24 years ago, he was the first black district attorney elected in Fulton County. And if you know anything about Atlanta and all this area, even 24 years ago, to do that was a great accomplishment, and he was in there for 24 years. So we congratulate him on that. And so, and by all means, things that happen and stuff. But now let me highlight a few things that I've learned, and I think we need to watch this, not just for elections, but watch it in our normal life. The lady that won for district attorney, which is now district attorney elect, I think she worked for Paul Howard for 17 years in his office. She was his assistant when it came to working. And by all means, she had the right she left the office, then she ran for the position. And by all means, she had the right to do that. But one of the things that I recognize is that even though she ran for the office and she had the right to do it, no, I'm not disputing whether she had a right to do it, and I'm not one way or the other with whichever one, it doesn't matter. But whether she had the right to do it, that's not the issue. The issue is in 17 years and her working with him, I'm sure that somehow they had intimate conversations about things that they wanted to do in the district attorney's office and whatever. And then when, someone runs against you and they get that close and they get that type of information, they may use it against you. You never know. You need to understand that people are not that loyal, not just in elections, but they're not that loyal, that period. So you have to understand that there's a loyalty that people don't have. And so sometimes the things that you share with people, even though they may work with you, some things you may have to hold and not share everything, because this is a thing where she ran against him. And again, she had the right to do it. Nothing stops her from doing that. But I'm thinking that she would not have been as known had not she been in his office and had not he given her an opportunity to be in his office during that time. If she would have never been in his office and then just ran, nobody probably would have even known who she was. So you have to understand that. That's the first thing. Second thing is during the last, I think the first time they ran and the last election they had, I like Channel 5, but sometimes they can go overboard. They had somewhat of a smear campaign that went against a man of color, and they just, whether things were right or wrong, I don't know if they really had the proof of evidence, but they went on this long thing about this, that, and the other. And of course, whenever we hear stuff, we're the kind of people, whether it's true or not true, we will jump on it and we will ride it and do those things, and we will agree with things that we don't even know if we've really found out the true evidence. So you have to understand, if people are vicious, and people will go through any means to smear your name, to smear your reputation, and to make it look a certain way. And sometimes it may not be the way that it looked. So that was the first thing. Second thing, or the next thing is, running for office, and I'm sure she's going to do a great job. But I hope that we will learn that you don't, how should I put it? You don't alienate or push those people away that gave you that opportunity. I know there are other people backing you and they're saying he ain't this and he ain't that and he ain't the other, but you don't alienate, because there's some things that you may need to fall back on him to get information about, or some things that you may need to fall back on him to get some things about. So you don't want to go and just put it that way. You need to mend the fence, or mend whatever your feelings are, and go in with a fresh slate. Because again, he holds the thing of being the first black district attorney. You hold one as being the first woman, but you worked for him for 17 years. And so you probably wouldn't be in that position had not he put you or had you working with him. So that's the next thing. Now, and so a lesson to be learned from that. Now, here's the lesson that I hope that the new district attorney learns. And that is this: people will push you, and they will push you and say, well, you this and you that, and you should do this. And they'll push you all the way to the end. But now always remember, the same thing that you criticize the district attorney, Paul Howard, about, you're going to have to make some type of decisions in life, or some type of decisions will have to be made as the district attorney. Some of them will not be popular decisions, and some of them may be worse decisions than you thought he made. Matter of fact, you may have to make some decisions, and everyone that even voted for you are not going to like the decisions you make. So are you willing, or are you ready to deal with the criticism of the same people that push you? Are you willing to deal with them when they say crucify you? And so all of us should learn from this, is that, sometimes we forget, and we get caught up in this thing where they backing me, they pushing me. But you got to read the scripture. The same people that said Hosanna about Jesus at one space turn around and said crucify him. So you have to understand, are you willing to make those same type of choices and decisions that you're going to have to make? Now you're in a position that you'll have to make them. It's one thing, and I think these are lessons we can learn just in life. It's one thing to be critical of sitting on the side looking in. It's one thing to be critical of watching from a distance, but it's another thing when you have to occupy the seat yourself to find out, can I handle this seat? A lot of times as people, I've seen young men and others say, hey, Sister Adams, I've seen young men and others get on and they say, well, I would do it this way, I would do it that way. And then they turn around and they get in the seat. And then you hear them start saying, I didn't know it was going to be like this. Well, because you're looking from a distance. There's a difference between being an assistant. There's a difference between sitting on the side. There's a difference between all that and actually being the one that the pressure is on to make the choices and the decisions. So you've got to learn to do that. It's something that has to be done. So I've learned some lessons this week in watching this, and I hope all of us can learn from this, because there's a lot of things that you can pull from this and just see how things work out. I pray that the success of all of them, but I just look at it and think that I know that even in church, these things have happened. Even on the job, these things have happened. And so we have to learn from that. All right, so let me move from that subject. The next thing I want to talk about is some of you maybe seen my picture where I went to lessons I've learned this week. I went to get something to eat, and I didn't say where it was. I didn't even say the name of the place. Some of you figured it out on your own. And I went to get something to eat, And when I went to get something to eat, when I got home, I always crack my chicken open to make sure it's cooked. And it was not cooked. It was red inside and even blood. And so I took it back and, they asked me, well, do you want anything else? Not at all. I just want my money back. So they did that. But it just, we got to learn. I know, a lot of times we want to eat places and stuff, but we really need to check this food because some of this stuff we're dealing with sickness may be because of the food. It may be because of what we're eating. It may be because of what we got and the things that we eat. I don't know, but we need to check that. Then me and Lady Martin was getting something to eat, and we had placed our order, and we got we got to the window, and the young lady that was at the window said, your order is $14. And I said to her, it's no way. My order is $14. She said, it's $14. I said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. And so she said to the manager, he holding up the line. And so I said, well, it's not $14 because even if I'd ordered 3 of those things and it wasn't in a combo, it wouldn't have been nowhere close to $14. So can't be $14. So she said, he holding up the line. So eventually the manager came over, of course, and looked at it and put the right price. No apology from the young lady. And so here's another lesson I've learned. You got to watch who you allow to represent you in these fast food places or drive-thrus or whatever. You got to watch who represents you, who is the face that somebody sees. And that's not only with that, that's even with church or business. The people that people see can hurt your brand or hurt whatever you're doing. If you got people that are rude, nasty, people that, just go through changes. Now, anybody with education would know if I know it's just a matter of pushing buttons, but if the order is $7, then how did you get to $14? And how do you expect me to pay $14? I'm not paying $14. So don't be rude and talking about he holding up the line. Don't be rude. Once you do that, at least apologize. At least say, I'm sorry, sir. No apology, nothing. We got to watch who we got working in these places. And I'm sorry. I don't mean no harm, but if folk are rude and working in these places, you need to find somebody else to work at Windows or somebody else to work in the restaurant or whatever that are nice. And I know you've got some people that are, I know you got some customers that can be nice, but in the case of those that are not being, nasty, but not being nasty, you should apologize. You should have better training for those that are working with you as to train and to get things right and proper. So, when I look at it, and tonight I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna call out where these locations were with the food. I'm not gonna call out where the locations were with that. Now, if it happens again, I'm gonna start calling it out because I think it's something that needs to be dealt with. I think it's something that needs to be really dealt with. I have an issue when I'm nice to you as a customer and you behind the desk or wherever you are and you're nasty. I have issues with that. And I really do have some issues with that when you're rude. I went to get something to eat tonight with my daughter, and I was just asking the lady, "But what is the price? Let me just check." And she was just, well, that's what this off and that off. And I'm just looking at her. And now I went back, but the other week when I went there, I had bought $30 some worth of food, and so I just asked because I didn't, I forgot something I didn't eat or whatever. I just asked, could I get substitute instead of getting what I was getting? If I could substitute and get, I think it was a piece of cake or whatever. And, the lady behind there, she was like, well, no, if you're going to get that, you have to, it's $2.99 more. And I'm saying to myself, are you serious? Now, a person just spent $30 in your store buying food and you tripping over $2.99 and not substituting something? Owners of businesses, those of you that own these businesses, we're going to start calling you out. You need to get your people right. You need to get your people where they act with some sense. That makes no kind of sense. That's so, I don't want to be offensive, but that's so ignorant that I don't even know how to even say it in many languages. It's ignorant when you do that type of stuff. That makes no kind of sense. And so, you got to place people in these positions that's got common sense, that know what to say and what to do, and not be so. And some of them are young people, but some of them are older people, and they're going through these changes and tripping, and it's unnecessary. So watch who you put over. And I say this because we got to learn that for church too. When we go back to church, and some of us, we found that before we left church, don't put people in positions that don't know how to talk to folk. Don't put people in positions that are nasty. Don't let people answer the phone that's got an attitude. Don't do that. You hurt yourself. Some people will never come back again, and you'll be trying to figure out why, because you had the wrong people in charge. So you need to do something different. You need to find some people that are different and stop letting these people just be in charge of the mic. Just be in charge of the mic, just acting all, crazy. He holding up the line. I'm not holding up the line. You holding up the line. You don't know how to count. And you got a cash register and don't know how to count. So we got to do better. And so I wanted to just drop in and talk about that tonight, because I think that it's, important. You're right, Mother Washington. Businesses can't really afford to lose business, especially during this time. You can't afford to do that. You can't afford to be losing business acting crazy. And Brother Richardson, pray over them. Disrespect is everywhere. They need, and some of them need God, and they need, maybe it's no home training. I don't know. But they feel it's okay to be disrespectful, and it's not. And there's some of us I don't take disrespect. I don't. I mean, I'm going to say something to you. I don't take disrespect from anybody. That's one thing I just don't do. I'm not going to let you disrespect me. Now, you have a opportunity if you want to, but I'm not going to let you do it and get by with it. That's just not what I do. But I'm just saying that we've got to know how to do better. And so the three things that that one thing I've learned is we got to, watch the people that are there, that's on that front line, and being disrespectful. I'll tell you what happened to me once, and I did this, and I'm known for this, I guess. My wife went to buy some sodas in the store, and a gas station, and we had just came from church. We were tired, and the young lady got real rude with her and nasty. So my wife came back. She said she won't let me. She said she ain't serving me nothing. So I went in to buy the drinks, and she told me, I'm not going to let you buy nothing either. And I said, well, why is that? Because I'm not going to do it. So there was another guy, and I said, well, will you buy these for me? I ain't going to sell it. I ain't going to let him buy it for you either. So I said, what is your name? And I ain't going to tell you my name. I said, well, I promise you, before the morning, I will have your job. And we're going to get you out of here, since you don't know how to talk to people. And I don't care about no job. So I said, okay. So she wouldn't give me the name, and I couldn't find the store number. So I went and actually called another store. They were able to give me the store number, as far as what, every store has a number about it. So I got the number, and then I got on my email and sent a letter into corporate about this incident. And so I sent it in to them and explained what happened. And then the next day I went back up, and the manager was there. And when I got there with the manager being there, he said, I told him what happened. He said, yeah, I heard about it. And so he was about to go in the same area she was, until I told him, I said, by the way, I got in touch with corporate last night, and I sent an email about this whole incident. He changed his whole way of thinking and told me, he said, well, just, what were you trying to buy? I said, some sodas. Well, just take whatever you want. A soda, the case of sodas, take whatever you want. And after that young lady was not working there anymore. Sometimes you have to go past people, because if you're dealing with them, they'll get rude. But when they understand the power of going into corporate, or the power of talking about it somewhere else, and then even the managers understand that, okay, that's something different. So in all these instances and things, most of the times I'm just being nice, but I'm a person that go after you in corporate, and to make sure that you don't do that to anybody else, because it sort of seems to me, there's one thing for you to have a bad day. I got when you're having a bad day. Every one of us have bad days, but it's one thing when it seems to be your attitude, or it seems to be a pattern that you do every time. that's an issue. I mean, sometimes you go places and people just have that attitude every time, whether you go through, whether you go in the store or whatever, they just got an attitude. They just got a whole attitude every time you walk in. Well, those people don't need to be working there because they're going to hurt your job. They're going to hurt your brand. They're going to hurt people coming in. And the same way it is with church. So these are things that I think we look and learn. Going back to the first one, and that is we congratulate Ms. Willis on her win in Fulton County as the district attorney-elect. But we also commend District Attorney Paul Howard for 24 years of service and being able to do what you've done. Unfortunately, again, there are smear campaigns that people will do, and I don't know whether it was true or not. I don't know. I'm not on one side or the other. I'm just saying that we have to be careful not to just ride the wave of smear campaigns, because guess what? Somebody may be smearing them today, and may be smearing you and I tomorrow. And sometimes we'll know some of the things that they're saying are not true. But once it's out there, and people have a knack of believing what they hear. They don't investigate. And you know how people are. People believe every negative thing they hear about you, but they never celebrate the positive stuff. And so you have to be careful of that. And so again, I pray that we learn lessons from this. And those of you, if you work for a person, work with a person, try your best. Try your best to be kind and nice and not going through those changes. I read to you the other day, I was reading the scripture to you, Galatians 4:16, and it says, because did I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Sometimes working with someone and everything, do what you do on what you're going to do and not so much what they've done or what they didn't do. Because if you do and prove to us what you're going to do, then we can celebrate you also. But also remember that whatever you criticize someone else about, once you take the seat, you've got to be willing to take the same criticism. All right, I'm done tonight. I thank you all for joining me. I pray and trust that you will got something out of this tonight. I just wanted to drop in and talk to you on this Thursday night. And these are lessons that I've learned this week. I think all of us can learn lessons. Whatever you do, take stuff that happens, take stuff that you see, and read into it. Get a lesson out of it that that is either something you don't do or something that you'll be better in, and being mindful of what you do. Every time I look at things like this, I'm mindful of things and how I should act, how I want to treat people, how I want to be treated. And so I try to learn and live my life off what I learn from others and the way they do things. So let's work on being nice and kind to people. The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you tonight. Good night, Brother Richardson. God bless you. Good. Thank you, Mother Washington. I pray and trust that all of you will have a wonderful evening, a wonderful night, and that the Lord will bless you real good. I see you on the next time that we come to talk and to share with you. The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you.